Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, C Money, and this is the first episode back from my Orlando trip. First of all, I would like to say happy holidays to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Merry Christmas, happy New Year's to all of y'all. Because I know it's in between the holidays, so I just want to say that. I don't know. My next episode might be in the new year, so I'm just giving you a heads up on everything and on everything. I just want to do a recap of the year's events. I want to do a recap of everything, and talk about the outlook of the year and how do I feel about it and everything. Basically, um, just a general topic of throughout the year. As you know, this year has been a very interesting year. And a very troublesome year with the monkeypox and trying to clear up the vaccine and the mask mandates being lifted and everything. So it's been quite of a year for us to actually sit up here and say that we have come far from when we was like a year or two ago. So it's basically and what to expect in the year of 2023. Basically, I think, like I said before, this coronavirus, and excuse me my voice because I'm just coming off of a cold. Um, it's basically like we're going to be in this coronavirus situation for another year or two. They still have testing sites all, set up, not as much that you would see, but they still have testing sites all over. Now, they're talking about extra booster shots and stuff. Let me tell you about this situation. Let me tell you about these booster shots and these vaccines and stuff. It's like every other, like 3 4 months, they come out with a new booster, or like every half a year they come out with a booster. My thing is, if the first vaccine is not helping you fight COVID, why do we need to take 3 or 4 more, or 2 or 3 more boosters to actually help with coronavirus? And for me, I feel as if that should not happen. The first vaccine for COVID 19 is supposed to be the one that's supposed to protect you from COVID. It doesn't prevent you from getting it, but when you do get it, it helps for you not to be more sicker than what you normally is. So my understanding is, why is it that we have to take 2 or 3 facts like boosters to actually get this? So that's something that it's real crazy. No, but it's a lot of people that can't get the vaccine, and there's a lot of people that won't get the vaccine because they're feeling the way that I'm feeling. Like you're not helping my. Oh, now you have a third booster. First it was you got to get the first shot, then you got to get the second shot in a couple of weeks. Then you got to get the booster shot. Now you got to get the second booster shot. Now you got to get, and I'm like, and then now there's old treatments and all that. I'm like, to me, like, if you can't help me fight COVID within the first 2 shots, it to me it should have been one shot altogether, and that shot should have been the strong shot, and then a booster shot, and that's it. There shouldn't be no one shot, then you gotta come back a couple of weeks and get the second shot, then you gotta go get the booster shot, and then you gotta go, it's just a lot. It's a lot behind it, and the government, I'm not saying that the government is bad, but the government, we're still down here in South Florida. We're still in a bind. A lot of businesses, even my job, a lot of businesses are still closing because a lot of people, a lot of businesses can't get workers. And there are several reasons why. And that's the topic I want to talk about as well. Why is the economy still bad? Why is the economy still messed up? You know, you gotta realize, ever since COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs. Even at my job, we had a whole bunch of workers, and they lost their job. When it was time to come back to work, there was a couple of factors. A lot of workers found other jobs or seeked other jobs because, like myself and others, it took you hell of a high water to get through unemployment and to get benefits from unemployment. You know, a lot of people was going through heck. If you saw on social media how a lot of people was going crazy over these, these $600 every week $600 pandemic money, and then the stimulus checks and all that. It was a lot of people going through craziness trying to get all that, and then it was crazy. And then now you have it where these people found different jobs, and instead of going back to the job they originally had, they found something. Some people had to step down from where they was. Some people was up before COVID and didn't have to step down after COVID. Some people had corporate jobs and CEOs and stuff. Then a lot of these businesses failed and closed during COVID. So it ended up they having to go find mediocre jobs, flipping a burger at Burger King, taking orders at a restaurant. They had to go find these mediocre jobs. Or like Drake said, you had to start from the bottom. Now you up. You had to go start back. You could have been this corporate manager or whatever, this corporate person, and then when COVID hit, your job closed, you lost everything, and then you had to go back to the bottom to try to build yourself back up. And a lot of the stuff and a lot of these things, like, there are people out there that have degrees and that have these master degrees, these bachelor's degrees, associates, and everything, but to get into a field, it's hard because of the fact that it's a life. It's things that you can't cope with. Excuse me. So it's like this year has been a comment. My job is still looking for people to hire. A lot of people are still struggling, and with the rent increase, because I did if you looked at my previous episodes from a couple of months ago, I did an episode about how the rent increases is tenfold, and then I told you in a previous episode where the news has stated to live in Miami you have to have a second full-time job. Rent now for a one bedroom costs you $1,000 plus, and that's only if you're staying in a nice neighborhood. Even if you're staying in an urban hood or ghetto area, you're still paying at least 900. An ex coworker of mine stayed in a newly renovated urban area, and I was like, this was the hood, and now they were renovated and newly renovated. And if you're from Miami, you know what I'm talking about. And they was paying like almost close to 1,300 for a 2 bedroom, and I say, what? In the hood? First of all, you're already in the hood, but you're in a project hood that's been renovated, and I have to pay 1,300 to stay in the hood. I'm like, no. For me to have to walk out my house and have fear in my life, because I don't know, every day you walk out your house, you have to be safe, and I have to pay these prices just to live in a place where I may in fear for my life. No. I'd rather pay 1,400 to live on South Beach or the beach, or live in some high-rise condos or something, but not to stay in no hood. So it's like a lot of these things are playing factors to like how life is changing. Like rent increases is going crazy. Even if you make a $1, you can't get food stamps, because there are a lot of people that say, "Oh, I only make $500 every paycheck, and my rent is like $600 a month." And then they say, "Oh, you still," or $700 a month. They say, "Oh, you not knowing that you got car payment, car insurance, and all that, and you still can't get food stamps because they feel like you make too much money." And I'm like, the government is trying to get people off of government assistance. But to me, how can you get people off of government assistance when they keep raising rent, jobs are not paying as much as they're supposed to, and you know Not just the rent, the cost of living keep going up. You know, a lot of these people have, you know, just like with transit, and I was saying this about transit. There's a lot of community, like the government try to enforce everybody to take transit, but you can't take transit when transit is not the best opportunity. Cause with me, there's I don't recommend no type of public transportation, because with me, public transportation is to me not the worst. I mean, it saves you money and gas. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of people there's a thing called a Metro Rail, which is a train down here in Miami. Look it up. It goes from the northern end of Miami to the southern end of Miami, and you know a lot of people take it because, like, especially if you work in the downtown area of Miami, where there's a lot of government buildings and stuff, you know, and there's no free parking. You gotta pay for parking and all that. A lot of people take it because it's more convenient for them. But my thing is, it's hard for people to use public transportation because you can't always rely on public transportation for a lot of these things. You can't always rely on public transportation for things just like with Lyft and Uber. I take Lyft and Uber. I love Lyft and Uber. But when you see these prices, like for instance, when there's a basketball game or there's a concert at a venue down here and you're within the vicinity of the venue, you getting to any location will cost you maybe $30 to $40 to get, and you're maybe only a 5 or 10 minute ride away. And a lot of these prices are like, what? Because I've seen prices where I would take a 5 minute ride and it'll cost me $20, when it shouldn't only cost me $7 to $8 for a 5 minute ride, you know. And it's a lot of these factors that play around. Like I always said, and I've said this before, Lyft and Uber should have had discounted rides during the pandemic. You know, because a lot of these people was trying to get to interviews for jobs. A lot of these people was trying to get to do things that they need to do. And instead of you just saying, okay, for right now we're doing discounted rides, you was actually, doing more rides. Because at one point Lyft was, stopped. Well, they stopped doing it again. Lyft, had Lyft Share, which is the ride share program where, they pick up somebody that's going in the same direction as you and you get to save money. When the pandemic hit, Lyft Share actually stopped. And then as the pandemic eased, they brought Lyft Share back. The only thing is you can only have one person in the car, meaning yourself. With Lyft Share before COVID, it could be two people in the car and you can share the ride with somebody else. But now they have it where, Lyft Share, you can only be one person in the Lyft Share, and you have to stay distance from each other. Like one person got to be on one side, the other person got to be on the other side, and then the front seat is off limits. And then they took Lyft Share off, recently, and I felt like even with that, you should have been doing discounts, because a lot of these people who was doing shared rides and stuff, Lyft and Uber was probably up in sales during the pandemic, because a lot of people were skeptical about taking buses. Because even though during the pandemic, like down here, I don't know about in other cities and states, they was disinfecting, and they had like a company that came in and disinfected and sprayed every bus, train, and public transportation system. They had people coming in spraying it with cleaning products and stuff, and sanitizing the buses and all that, to the point where but that wasn't even effective, because you can only sanitize and clean the bus at the end of the route. Let's say you going from one end to another end. When you get to the end of the route, you disinfect and spray the whole route. But then there are some buses that when they get to the other end of the route, there isn't a cleaning person to come and disinfect. So whatever accumulated within that route is going to stick until they get back to the other side, where they had a disinfected person, meaning that they're going to go up to the north on the route, then got to come back south for the actual person to disinfect the ride. So it's still not disinfected, safe and everything. So it's like, and then a lot of people were scared to take public transportation. So Lyft and Uber was like high in sales. But to me, I felt like they should have cut costs, because of the fact that a lot of these people was trying to get to interviews or trying to get to jobs, or they was trying to do something to better themselves in life and stuff like that, and they probably didn't have much money. So You can't save money when you spend the $30 on a Lyft ride, and then you barely got enough money to pay for your rent, and you barely got enough money to feed you and your kids. But you got to pay this amount of money to get to where you need to go because either the buses wasn't running or you know like down here in Miami, they was social distancing on the buses. So if everybody had to sit in every other seat, and when the bus got packed, you couldn't stand up on the bus, so you had to wait on the next bus. And God forbid that it was the last bus of the night, and then you was really school, so you had to pay these prices for Lyft and Uber, but you was paying $30, $40 just to go here and there, and for a 5 minute ride. I'm like, that's ridiculous. So for me, it's like throughout the year we're getting a little bit better, but we're still not there yet because you still have these things that are going on. It's like every time, when we got done with the COVID, then the the Omicron variant came out, and then you had this other variant, the Delta variant, and the monkeypox came out. It's like everything was like coming out in increments, and it's like, when are we going to stop? And then there was like that monkeypox outbreak, and even though they said it was, because it's more common in men having sex with other men, and then it came to the point where a lot of these people were scared to go anywhere and travel, and because I knew a couple of friends that said they was traveling, and due to the monkeypox, it was like, I'm not traveling, and then a lot of people tried to make it like the monkeypox was more into men, and like, no, women are getting monkeypox too. It's just the fact that it may be more common, and just the same thing like they say with HIV and AIDS. It's a lot that has been going on, and for me, I felt like a lot of these things are not coming into place because we're still in a pandemic. Like you know, I honestly feel, excuse me, that basically we're not gonna be done until the next 3 4 years with anything, with COVID-19, anything. So it's going to be a crazy mess where we're going to be in a bad funk, in a pandemic for years, for months to go, and for us to actually be in this situation, and for us to be in a state of mind where we can actually do something. It's basically saying that we're not done yet. We're not over this yet. We're not going to be ending this yet, and we're not in that state of mind where we know that it is messed up. You know, a lot of these people now, there are people out here that are still afraid to go out. I've had people that actually um that say that they have family and friends that's still afraid to go outside. And even though, because now they done lifted the mask mandate and everything, they done lifted everything off. As people that are still saying that, okay, we're out of this, we're out of that, um, but we're still in the thing. Like now, you can't you it. There, a lot of these places are saying masks are not required, but they're recommended. And I look at it as, yes, they are. And a lot of these people don't understand when you go into in the public world, don't do anything that'll jeopardize somebody's, life. Don't do anything that'll jeopardize somebody's health. I see people that get on the bus and they'll be eating their food because first of all, you're not supposed to be eating on the bus anyway, and that's even before COVID. But there are people that be eating their food, licking their fingers, and they be I had a passenger when I was when I was on the public transportation bus, and I was sitting at the bus, and he was in front of my face eating like fruit or something like that, and one of the passengers was like, "You ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. You just letting them." I say, "Well, I'm finna get off the bus anyway. Yeah, I'm mad, but what is there for me to say anything? Because some of these people are gonna continue to do what they do. Long as I protect myself, I could care less with anybody. As long as I, drink the immune drinks and the vitamins and all that, whatever. As long as I protect myself, you know, I know what I gotta do. And a lot of these people look at it as if, why you do these things? Why people do these things? People do these things because they're stupid. They're nuts. They're idiots. And I'm not calling anybody specifically, but it's like you're doing things to not realize we're still in a pandemic. Regardless if a lot of restrictions have eased up and a lot of restrictions are are now lifting, and we're about 90% out of this COVID. For you to be 100% out of the COVID, there has to be no more testing sites. There has to be a 100% rate on nobody catching COVID, because everybody's still catching COVID. There's at least 1 out of 10 people that's catching COVID. And so it's like, how do you deal with it? And then not only with COVID, you got the monkeypox and all this other stuff. So it's like, are you in? And then it's like, how do you deal with these situations? How do you deal with it, the day-to-day life, knowing that we're still out here trying to fight the big fight? So for me, you know, a lot of y'all, I want to know a lot of y'all opinions about it, but we're gonna get to that. A lot of y'all opinions about it, because do you think that we're over? Do you think that we're out? Because now you have it where the movies are back open. Even though a lot of these movies are now streaming online, and to me, I feel like that's the worst thing that could ever happen. Because I don't want to be one of them people where I don't like to stream movies online unless I'm going to like the Red Box, or like you know a movie store or whatever, and or getting a movie. I don't mind streaming every blue moon a movie, but for new movies that are coming out, oh, you can stream it online on Paramount Plus, or you know Amazon Prime, or HBO Max, and all that. And I'm like, why can't I go see an action movie in the movie theater without having to pay a subscription to get into a service that I may or may not use? Because a lot of these services are $20 to $30 for services. I see a lot of my social media um, friends post about how every time they turn around, Hulu and Netflix, they going up on their prices, and they keep going up on their prices like every couple of months. And I'm like, so why should I get a streaming platform when every time you turn around, they're raising their prices? You tell a person, oh, $3.99 for 3 months, and then it goes up to $5 and $6, then it goes up to 10, then it goes up to 15, then by the end of the year, you paying them the $20 for a streaming app. And I'm like, really? And it's like, it's not worth doing it. And that's just for one. You're not getting no 3 bundle pack where you buy this one and you get this one and this one. You paying $20 to $30 for one streaming app, and I'm like, it makes no sense. You know, and to me, I feel like, really, basically, why are we in this situation? Why are we in these things that we do? Because there a better solution to everything? Is there a better solution um to all? And I agree that there needs a better system to come about for all of this. I want to know what you feel. You can email me, roundtable00@yahoo.com. You can also comment at the bottom of this page. Do you think this year has impacted more better, or impacted more worse? Because to me, it's impacted kind of better, but we're still not there, because there are still people being hospitalized because of COVID. There are still people being, out there because of, life and everything. So you got to look at it at, rent increase going up. COVID cases may be at a steady. And then you got a lot of these people that are still suffering, because I was a corporate man and I made $150,000 a year and all this. Now I'm only making $20,000 a year and stuff. So it's a lot behind it. Even with you know government assistance, and like I said, with government assistance, because remember at one point, um what was the man name? And I'm gonna give you Um, it wasn't Ron DeSantis. It was not. I forgot. It'll come back to me. When at one point they was trying to get rid of. They was trying to make everybody drug tests for any government assistance, because to me, like I kind of agree with the situation, but I didn't agree with the situation. I don't know if I ever did an episode about it, where they was trying to make people drug tests for government assistance. Because a lot of these people that get government assistance, where they getting disability, they getting housing and all that. They was telling them to get drug tests, because if they was on drugs, they was losing their assistance, and then they was making them pay $30 for it. Then eventually it was a politician. Then eventually the government told them, no, you can't make people take a drug test to get government assistance. So they had to stop it, and they had to give everybody back their $30. To me, I kind of agree with the method, but I don't agree with the method, because number one, I agree with, yes, I believe there are some people out there that are getting services that shouldn't need services. You're probably healthy as a hog, running around here la 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 la, doing all this stuff, healthy as a hog, but because you had one minor incident years ago, and it forced you to get on this disability, or forced you to get on housing or any type of government assistance, you stuck with it for life. But you shouldn't have to. But now they're going into the process, because now it's I've heard and I've learned and I did research, and a lot of people are telling me now they're cracking down on that, because a lot of people now are finna get off assistance, because some of these people have been living on that for years, and that's all they been living off of. And I'm like, you can't be somebody living off of government assistance when there's people that are trying to get on that can't even get on, that needs it. But you got somebody here that don't need assistance, that's living scotch free, got government housing, getting government assistance, paycheck, food stamps, whatever, whatever. But then you got somebody that really needs it, that can't get it because they're going through hell of a high water. But then you got somebody that didn't go through hell of a high water, that got it, and that's living on Easy Street. And I feel like that's just for me, it's not right. But I don't agree that they should get a drug test. I believe they need an overall, how would say, overall review. You know, because I feel whoever does anything in post, because you got rich people that does drugs, you got poor people that does drugs. There are people out there that does drugs that because they can't afford medication, and drugs is the cheapest way to cope with medication. And I know a couple of people that was like that. And basically there's a lot of things that you don't know. So I don't pry, and I always say, what do people do in their personal life shouldn't affect their outside life. Meaning, yeah, if they do drugs or whatever, just make sure that it's not drugs that the government is paying for. I understand if you work and make a couple of dollars and you do drugs or drink or whatever, that's fine. But if you spend your whole government assistance money, or government, whatever you get from the government, on drugs, yeah, I think you need to be evaluated, because that's supposed to be for you and your disability or whatever you going through and stuff. Just like with child support, I believe that there should be a law that every man should be getting receipts and updates on what their money is being spent on for their child support. Not just men, but women too. You know, and I feel as if you're getting assistance from child support, you should be able to see the receipt. And I know a lot of women say, no, 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 that's not the case. It shouldn't be that because we spend it. But yeah, but a lot of these women are spending their money on a lot of stuff, and that's probably going to be another episode topic for that. So I feel, what do you think about about anything in a year in advance? Do you think that the year has been good? Do you think the year has been bad? What do you think about the year? Email me roundtable00@yahoo.com. Don't forget to comment at the bottom of this page, and if you want to talk about a previous episode, you can. If you have a topic you want to tell, you want me to talk about, feel free to email me and comment at the bottom of this page. Happy New Year's. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope y'all had a blessed and safe year, and I hope that your next year will be as more blissful and safe as this upcoming year. My next episode may not be until the New Year's. So until then, I hope y'all have a safe and blessed holiday season. And, stay safe out there because we're still in a pandemic. Stay strong and stay blessed. I am your host, C Money, and I will see you in the new year, if God's willing. And I will see you on the next episode of the Roundtable Talk. Take care.